as promised, let's shift now our focus to India's vegetable oil market, where two key developments are making headlines. First, in a significant move to tame prices and support domestic processing industries, the government has gone ahead and slashed the basic customs duty on palm oil, soybean oil and sunflower oil, bringing it down from 20% to 10% now. This step is aimed at making cooking oil more affordable for consumers across the country. And second development, and in a long-standing demand, the Indian Vegetable Oil Producers Association, or IVPA as we call it, had earlier this year urged the government to reinstate standardized pack sizes for edible oil. The IVPA now says that the government is actively considering this particular proposal, which was kept by them. The association believes that standardized packaging will enhance transparency and allow simpler, more equitable price comparisons for consumers at the retail level. And to unpack what these developments mean for the entire industry and the end consumer, we are now joined by Mr. Sudhakar Desai, President of IVPA, now joining us. Mr. Desai, thank you so much for taking your time out and joining us here on ET Now. And first up, let's talk about the recent move by the government where they've gone ahead and slashed import duty on edible oil from 20% earlier to 10% now. Since you represent the entire industry, tell us how has the industry reacted to this and what will the repercussions be?
Yes, I think it's a very, very historical move. As you said, that is a very long-standing demand to correct the anomaly in the import duty structure, number one. Number two, I think industry has actually been asking for the widening of the differential between the crude and refined oils because a lot of underutilized capacity is there in the industry here. But what was happening last many years was that some of the exporting countries were nullifying this differential by giving export subsidy on the finished goods. So it so happened that suppose Indian industry is buying, let's say, 800,000 tons of oil, out of which 35 to 40% was coming in the form of refined products. This was causing a margin disadvantage and also the capacity utilization. The problem in capacity utilization drop is well known in the industry. The cost will go up and the margin comes under a huge pressure. On top of it, there was also Indian industry was paying 27%, 35% duties on the refined oils, whereas the same thing, same products, if they are routed through Nepal or the so-called SAFTA countries, the finished goods could come at zero duty. So these two issues is what across the industry, all the associations have been fighting for, and in which we are very happy to say that after many years of making this point, finally this has happened. And the government has chosen to reduce the duties on the edible oils while the industry demand is only for the differential. The logic for the duty reduction, I understand, is that compared to the last year in edible oils, there has been an inflation of about 17-18% overall, consequent of duty increases last year, and also the fact that the global prices also went up. So consequently, the government has decided, so it should bring cheer to consumers also. And also, I want to make a couple of points. See, in India, it's very difficult to say who's the farmers, who's the consumers. The large consuming public, which is 65% of the agriculture dependent population, is also consumers. So I'm sure they would also get benefit due to the slight adjustment of the crude oil duties. And also, the eventually, we've been also saying as IVPA that the dynamic duty structure in the current context. I saw you were telling about so many commodities which are nowadays extremely volatile, especially after the global tariff war, I would say. So the dynamic duty is what we've been propagating, which means that you keep the global price stable and keep the MSPs and keep the MRPs and then rebalance your duties from time to time. There are three main benefits in this. One is protection to any one of the stakeholders, especially farmers. Second is it becomes more predictive, and third is the speed of change will be faster with the dynamic duty slab. So I think that's how we see the whole duty structure change and the benefit it will have. I think it provided a very good level playing field for the Indian industry, and at the same time, all stakeholders have been taken care.
Okay, so that's as far as the industry impact is concerned, but there is also a fear that perhaps oilseed acreage might come down because it will become unattractive for farmers to grow oilseeds. Would you concur with this view that perhaps this is likely to happen in this Kharif season?
Uh, this is again a fallacy, I would say. I think I also saw some report saying that the mustard acreage has fallen. But you see, the mustard acreage of which was planted last year, November, December, has nothing to do with the duty structure. It is harvesting now. So once the monsoon is done, I think by the time of June, July, the demand and the price table will take care of what the sowings for the Kharif would be. As far as oilseed sector is concerned, I think it is definitely welcome move. We had also suggested as IVPA white paper on various measures that need to be taken, a comprehensive and holistic look for the oilseed sector. Number two, it is very inevitable for our march towards self-sufficiency in oilseed sector, because we are currently importing from many countries, including maybe US soon, because soybean oil will start becoming cheaper. And third thing is that the government is very, very keen, and they've done a wonderful job of procuring and protecting the MSPs. If you see the mustard crop, last year there was a huge procurement by the NAFED at the MSP. This year also NAFED was ready, and they will support the MSP and keep in market intervention operations. In case of soybeans also, I think the government and the government agencies have procured nearly 2.2 million tons at the MSP. So I think coupled with that, we also recommended that there can be a relook at the PDPS scheme, price deficiency scheme, which is there mandated in the CSCP recommendations, that any procurement that is done, the differential can be made good for the farmers in MSP. But I think in the main crops, which is mustard and soybeans, the government has done a lot already to support the MSP. There is a little bit of an issue in terms of DDGS competition in the de-oiled cakes. That needs to be corrected in an innovative way by way of taxing DDGS, because it's a byproduct of ethanol competing with the oilseed cake, especially soybeans. So I think a little bit of comprehensive look on this further would strengthen the whole sector.
Comprehensive look is required for the entire ecosystem. But Mr. Desai, let me also talk about the other development that is making headlines for your sector. IVPA had urged the government to bring back standardized packaging for vegetable oil. I believe the government has now taken note of that, but tell us, if at all that were to come through, how does life change for you and the industry, and what kind of benefits will the industry enjoy on account of that?
Yes, this is also, we are very happy about the government's intention. Last time they called for a multi-stakeholder meeting. The problem was that in a particular amendment, actually with all the good intentions, the legal metrology has made all the packaged goods. There were about 16 products, including wheat and biscuits and milk and so many other products. So the government has done away with the standardization. But however, in edible oil sector, due to acute competition and huge unorganized sector and repackers, what has happened is that there was a plethora of brands that have come up into the markets. And while the unit selling price, that is the price per gram displayed on the panel, was supposed to protect the consumer interest, we found that in many cases the consumer was not aware, or it was taking more time. I think everybody expected that the consumer will become very aware of the unit selling price, but it was not so. And there were many brands at the various grammages, probably causing a little bit of confusion in the market, especially for the consumers. So we had taken up this issue, saying that it's better to have standard packs like 1 liter, 2 liter, half liter, something like that, and not allowing multiple complicated grammages where the unit selling price, suppose you are showing on the display 500 grams. But if someone gives 480 grams, it will be very difficult for the unit selling price to be understood in the right perspective. I'm very happy that many consumer associations and many other government officials, and it was also across the cross section, all the associations were present. There was a recommendation sought by the legal metrology that this time you make a clear representation of what all pack options, why it needs to be standardized. So once we propose, once everybody is submitting already these propositions, and I think I hope government will take a positive step and looking at edible oil sector separately and giving out with the standardized thing as per the need of the hour. So we are very optimistic that this will be corrected for smooth operation and supply chain management.
Okay, so that's as far as standardized packaging for vegetable oil is concerned. Mr. Desai, thank you so much for taking your time out and joining us here today on ET Now and helping us decode what the outlook looks like for the vegetable oil market. But shifting focus to our next segment in June.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.